I know Bernie Sanders said that, quote, the American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails. But there are a lot of people who are not.
Well.
Including
That laugh, something else. Hillary Clinton laughing, would you say like the Joker, when CNN's Jake Tapper tries to ask her about the FBI's investigation into her email server. The Bureau is still trying to check out the security of that private email server to determine if it put American intelligence, perhaps American lives, in jeopardy. For more perspective on this, we welcome now Ron Hosko. He's the president of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. He's also the former assistant director of the FBI. Ron, before we get into the president's comments from 60 Minutes, let's talk about these new reports as well. And I'm quoting the AP here. The State Department's compliance with federal cybersecurity standards was below average when Clinton took over, but grew worse in each year of her tenure, according to an annual report card compiled by the White House. Based on agency watchdogs. How can Hillary Clinton laugh when that kind of information is still dripping out of this case?
It strikes me as very unusual and the opposite of what you'd expect. This should be regarded as a very serious matter. I think in how she or her people set this private server up from a cyber perspective is a disaster. It's an unmitigated disaster.
Well, let's refresh everyone what the president was talking about. He appeared on 60 Minutes last week, and this is what he had to say, in part, based on Hillary's emails.
I don't think it posed a national security problem. I can tell you that this is not a situation in which America's national security was endangered.
Now, you told the New York Times last week that the president is injecting politics into what is supposed to be a fact-finding inquiry, and it leaves a foul taste in the FBI's mouth. That's a pretty strong statement. But current FBI Director James Comey says, you know my folks, you know they don't give a rip about politics. Is that entirely true?
Well, that is true. And as a former assistant director, I sat in meetings, and our people certainly knew that their political views should never be on the table, should never be discussed in connection with an ongoing investigation, and in fact were irrelevant to that investigation. There are sections of that law that talk about, and that is the espionage statute, someone acting with gross negligence with respect to how they handle national security information.
So in your mind, Ron, there's no question here, Hillary was acting with gross negligence.
Well, I want to know more about the facts, but it seems to me just using a private server to transmit national security information, something that is marked secret or top secret or sensitive, poses that risk of damage to the national security and needs to be evaluated.
Needs to be evaluated without the president weighing in such a manner. That's what you're trying to say.
Unquestionably, to me, clearly inappropriate and wholly inappropriate, because as the FBI is still trying to find the facts, how does he even know? How could he even be in a position to comment? And yet he is.